"Settle down, old buddies, settle down." Dwight swallowed a mouthful of shine from the mason jar and wiped his beard with his grimy shirt sleeve. The homemade spirit burned his throat like a lit match, but sure tasted good. He sucked deep on the spliff, savored the vapors searing his lungs. Saturday night fever and all homemade, the weed grown in the woods behind him, the shine made in his own still. A frightening rumble of thunder echoed in the night sky, but he felt so relaxed he barely reacted. The storm wouldn't hit here for maybe another 5 minutes, which gave him enough time to enjoy the fireworks. After that, the rain would hammer like bullets on the cabin's tin roof. He sucked again on the joint, held the smoke in his lungs, let it out slowly. They said weed frazzled your brain, but Dwight didn't care. Not since the day Hilda went to cancer. From then on, he figured he was on the downhill slope anyway, and weed would change nothing. Hilda had slipped away in her sleep after a year of agony. 1 minute breathing, the next lifeless as he clutched her hand. He talked with God about that, begged not to let him suffer as painful a going as his wife's. Give him a heart attack, hit him with a Mack truck, whatever. Just take him quick. Dwight grabbed his walking cane. He flicked the hook end to open the porch refrigerator. The light inside came on. Cans of Bud, milk, some provisions, but mostly Bud. He hooked out a Bud, grabbed it in the crook of his foot, kicked it into the air, and caught it in his palm, then banged shut the door with the tip of his snake boot. Not bad for an old guy. He hissed open the can, swallowed some cold amber. High in the Smoky Mountains, away from civilization, more thunderbolts sizzled, the storm coming closer. Clack, clack. The goats took another bleeding run at the rail post. Their distress was driving him nuts. They said animals sensed imminent danger, that in fear they moved up into the hills when tsunamis or hurricanes hit. He reckoned the goats sensed the approaching thunderstorm. "Settle down, fellas. Nobody's going to get crisped." At that precise moment, a booming thunderbolt echoed around the mountains, and the goats went crazy. Dwight looked up at the sky as something caught his eye. Weird. A spark of light spit out of the dark storm cloud. The spark blazed like a glittering star. What the? Dwight squinted and felt his heart race. Was it his imagination, or was the object shooting toward him? For a moment he wondered if he'd drunk too much. Sometimes the moonshine caused him to have visions or to perceive the real meaning of existence. Once he'd decided to keep a notebook and pen by his bed, and when he woke in the night, he'd write down his jumbled thoughts, hoping to decipher the meaning of life hidden in his dreams, and fall back to sleep. Next day, sober, he'd read his scrawled notes. Oil change due Friday, pay wheel tax, buy a packet of smokes and a gallon of milk, packet of butt wipes for sensitive skin. Dwight rubbed his eyes and blinked. The spark blazed in the black sky dead ahead of him and got brighter, speeding out of the storm cloud. Whoever said drinking ruined your eyesight was lying, because Dwight saw the object glowing brighter and moving closer by the second. It was definitely coming toward him, whatever it was. A UFO? Some weird light phenomenon? Now it sparkled brighter, seemed to break apart. A piece of the object fell away, a ball of flaming light. Now there were two objects. Then the smaller one disappeared, its light dying like an orange emergency flare as it dropped toward Earth. But the bigger object kept hurtling toward him. Holy cow! Alarmed, Dwight pushed himself out of the rocker and went to turn to his cabin, to grab his shotgun. His survivor's instinct was already telling him it was a total waste of time as the thing came screaming toward him like a banshee. He heard a swish of air, and then a mighty thud when something hit the forest floor with a sound like an earthquake, shaking the ground under him, as if some unseen monster in the bowels of the earth had just given a massive growl. The powerful impact blew Barack and Obama clear off the ground, sent the goats' exploding carcasses flying through the darkness, as if sucked skyward by a tornado. The same